All right, guys, here's this 95 G10. I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I've actually had a couple people kind of get on me, telling me to do some. I've been sick with the flu and still kind of getting over it. This Saturday will be week number 2. I feel much better. About 3 or 4 days was the worst of it. Just trying to get over the congestion. Still have some stuff, I guess, in my chest or whatever. Still coughing a little bit, but a whole lot better than I was. So if you haven't had the flu this year, do your best to avoid it. Wash your hands. Stay away from people. I've had COVID, and I would rather have COVID 3 to 1 compared to that stuff. It was just terrible. Anyway, so this 95 G10, I can't remember what all I showed y'all in the last video that I had done to this thing, but I've obviously put torque thrust wheels on it. I think those were in it in the last video. I believe I posted a video with the bumpers. The rear bumper's bent. I may end up having to get a facial bar for the back. What I'm calling the facial bar is just the actual bumper itself. So I've got a good tag bracket, and I've got good brackets for the bumper. I gave $50 for both of these bumpers out of a junkyard. So the tag bracket is worth that. That tag bracket's probably $80. So I have that. I have the brackets. Just the bumper itself is just $200. And there's several of these vans in these local junkyards. I may just find another one and get the rear bumper off of it. But for now, that one's okay. I'll eventually get around to that. That's the last thing on my agenda. I did put some vent windows in this thing. So a good friend of mine had a camper van and a G30, and it had these vent windows in it. The rubbers were good, and the little handles here are real tight and they click good. The ones that were on this van were black here, so this has a little chrome strip. It's pretty discreet, but it does kind of blend in with the emblem and the wheels and the mirrors and stuff. It's been brought to my attention, I guess these are the wrong mirrors for this van. I didn't know that. I don't know if they are or not. Don't really care. They work. And this is not a show van. It's just something to beat around in at the junkyards and stuff. But anyway, I got the vent windows in it. Those things were a pain to put in. I've put a bunch of those in on trucks. I've actually taken them apart, drilled the rivets out, and put seals and stuff in them. I don't care if I ever do another set of these. Those were just aggravating. You wouldn't think they would be with that square window, but they were tough coming in and out. So I've rebuilt the throttle body. That's where my miss was in this thing. If you remember, it had a pretty bad miss at idle. So the throttle body was my issue. I did put a new distributor in it. I'm going to keep the original distributor with me. That's kind of not really a weak point on these throttle bodies, but I have had several go out over the years, the ignition module to be specific. And it's always good to carry an extra with you on these old throttle bodies. So if you've got anything throttle body, OBS truck, Camaros, Firebirds, whatever, Trans Ams, if it's got a throttle body engine, get on Rock Auto, order you a good module. Go ahead and put it in, and a good GM module if you can find one. And put it in and keep your old one as a spare to get you off the side of the road. I also put a new fuel pump in it and sending unit to fix the fuel gauge. The fuel gauge did not work. I cannot stand a fuel gauge not to work. So that's working now. I've got all this damn galled up crap cut out. They had a drop cord, a couple drop cords actually, with wires just running everywhere for the radio. They were pinched in between the doghouse. I can't believe that was actually working for them. So I've ordered just a little single DIN head unit, no CD player, nothing, but it's got Bluetooth, it's got an aux port. That's how most people listen to music now. So I did order, I was going to make a piece for the center here to mount the radio in, but I found one on eBay. It was like $30. So I ordered that. Probably could have been a good junkyard piece, but I just thought, hell, why not? I don't have to run it to a junkyard and dig around. I did get the steering column out of that G30 van as well. Same steering column. All this is a little black piece of plastic that pops in here and covers up you wiper and cruise control wires, whatever those are. Got several pieces off of that van. So that's the steering column that come out of it. And I got the door panels, the sun visors, some pieces off the dash. That's the lower door panel. This thing had a terrible power steering leak. So it was the gearbox. That thing was kind of a booger to change, but I bought a seal kit for this gearbox that was on the van. I was just going to take it apart and reseal it, but that was a pretty low mile camper van, and he's given the van away, or the camper away, to a guy to live in that's kind of down on his luck. So he's going to let him live in it. The motor and transmission have been taken out. Matter of fact, I have the transmission to the camper that Jimmy bought, Mr. PIB, for one of his trucks. So we're going to use the transmission in one of his trucks. He used the motor out of the camper in a Chevy Monza that he's fixing up. Maybe I can go over and do a video of it one of these days. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Several things that have been used off that camper. The camper will never be running and driving again. It is, that guy's going to live in it for as long as he needs to, and then it'll probably end up in a junkyard. But anyway, I still got a lot to do with the van, but it had a bad water leak, and that power steering leak was terrible. And when I traded with the guy, I asked him if it really leaked anything, had any bad leaks. He said, no, not really. He's obviously bullshitting. There was a gallon of antifreeze and a gallon of transmission fluid in the floor, and that's when I seen it. That's why I asked. And so anyway, I just kind of chalked that off. Shit happens. It had a heater hose leaking, so that was a 5-minute fix. I don't know how long he'd been driving this thing around adding water to it. So we got that fixed, and luckily enough, the transmission fluid was for the gearbox, for the power steering. So the transmission's not really lost anything since I've been driving it. It's got a little drip of oil, but nothing bad. It's a 95 model. Doesn't really bother me. I may address that one day. Again, it's not bad at all. I don't think I've even added any oil to it since I've been driving it. So I know the valve covers are leaking a little. Maybe the oil pan's got a little drip. Probably go ahead and put valve cover gaskets on it and eventually get around to the oil pan if I don't sell it first or whatever. But I don't remember if I had both of the headlight bezels in. So when I ordered this grill and headlight bezels off of eBay as a kit, it came in 3 different packages in 3 different days. So this headlight bezel finally came in. I got it in there, and this emblem, I was looking around for these emblems, and these things are expensive. And reason being, it is a GM part. You can even look at the bag and tell it's got some age on it. But I think it's just really going to help the appearance here on the front. I'm about to cut that bag open. As a matter of fact, I guess I could do that now. And well, I say that. If I got any, yeah, I thought I had some scissors here, just to kind of look at it and see how I'm going to attach it. I guess I'm just going to have to glue it, which kind of sucks. I was hoping it had some speed nuts on it. I don't really want to lose that. I think I gave right around $70 for this emblem, which is stupid. I shouldn't have done that. Of course, that bag is vacuum sealed. I'll fool that in a minute, and I'll do another video after I get it all buttoned up and get the radio in it and get that in it. But anyway, that's where I'm at on the van. You can see I've got some parts here laying in the floor. Those are from my 56 Chevrolet truck. That thing's got kind of a crappy disc brake kit on the front. This is just an OEM style disc brake kit for 67 to 9 Camaro, or Nova, obviously up to 74. But anyway, just standard stock OEM disc brakes. This kit's got everything. It's got the spindles, the calipers, rotors, bearings, everything. I did order a set of 2-inch lowering springs, so I'm going to lower the front of this truck 2 inches. I don't know if that's a real good idea. Worst case, I'll just put stock springs back under it. I also have upper and lower tubular control arms for the front. So I was just going to put ball joints in those control arms, but that is a original subframe out from under a Nova, and I don't believe that the A-arms have had new bushings and stuff put in them. So just a good set of ball joints was about $130 for the stock control arms. These control arms, the tubular control arms, was just about $100 more, $120 $130 more. And you've got both upper and both lower tubular control arms with new ball joints and bushings in them. So that was kind of a no-brainer. It's starting to warm up, guys. I know my content sucks. I'll be the first to tell you. I don't know how some of y'all watch it. I do appreciate the fact that you do. But I've got my GoPro out. I got it out last night, started charging batteries and stuff up. I'm going to dig my tripods out. I've got a little mount where I can actually mount it to my chest or wherever else on my body, and maybe it won't hinder me or slow me down. I've always kind of steered clear of trying to do videos and work because it does slow me down. It gets in my way, and I don't have a lot of time to be wasting. But anyway, the weather's fixing to break. I'm going to get on this truck and get it to where I can at least drive it. Hopefully by the summer, hopefully I can get that thing done through the spring. I was hoping to have it done for the rod run. I don't think that's going to happen. Still got a lot of body work to do. Got to get some color on it, and several little mechanical issues I've got to work out. I got to figure out the steering. These disc brakes, that was a big worry on my mind because that is a bad setup. Those things get spongy real quick. I'll have to show you that setup when I take that wheel off. It's just not a good setup at all. So put all this under it and figure out my power steering. It's manual steering right now, so figure out my power steering and get that oil pan put on it, especially since I'm lowering that thing down 2 more inches. That oil pan's going to be dragging the road. So I've got a shorter oil pan and stuff to put on it. And again, whole lot to do. Just a few more things to tidy up on this, and I'm going to get Moon Pie back in here and try to get that truck done. I've got to raise it back up so it's still a little bit low. Get it back up in the air and button a few things down on it. Hopefully it'll be ready to go home, and get that one over here and start piddling on it. You can get either the 80 or the 66 in here, and figure out which one we're going to start on first. Probably the 80 because we've got a 5-lug swap the 66. Be a little more in depth, but whichever one Mr. and Mrs. PIB want to go with first, that's the one we'll do. Either way, we got to get motors and transmissions and brakes and fuel systems and everything on both of them. The only thing I'm ahead on the 80 is the fact that it is already 5-lug and I don't have to change the K-member and stuff out. So whole lot to come, guys. I'm hoping this content gets better. I'm hoping that maybe I can do some projects that might help some of y'all along the way or give you the motivation to get back on some of this stuff. I'm going to glue this emblem in. I've got some shoe goo. Mr. PIB is a big fan of it, and it is good stuff. I've used it over the years. I'm going to try to glue that down. A little depressed that there's not a speed nut on that. I hate to glue this. That thing is expensive. I don't know if there's maybe another piece that's supposed to glue in the back of that. So anyway, I'm going to get that out and see what I can do with it. Guys, as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.